It's Friday, July 28th, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Mantle. We have a great show in store for you today. First up, the Love Local Fest is happening this Sunday. We're going to learn more about it with the community event organizer, Amanda Converse. Then we are going to learn a little bit more about everything that's taking place this weekend. The Hyannis Yacht Club Regatta is being held this weekend. So we have some tips on what to avoid with Assistant Recreation Director John Gleason. And he's also going to tell us a bit about some updates to the skate park. And finally, we're going to talk with local author Kate Conway about the upcoming Teen Writers Conference. All of that on this episode of Barnstable Today. But first, let's go ahead and get a look at today's top headlines. A plan to build a state-of-the-art sports complex in Hyannis moves forward. This week, the Planning Board voted unanimously to approve a zoning amendment that paves the way for Total Athletics to build a $12 million facility. The complex would include an ice rink, basketball court, an indoor baseball facility, and workout rooms. The plan will next go before Town Council for final approval. The John F. Kennedy Hyannis Museum will soon add a new community room. That's thanks to a very generous donation. The Scudder family and Highline Cruises donated $100,000 to support that project. Executive Director John Allen says the new community room will enable the museum to expand its outreach program.
Clearly, one of the milestones that we have in our plans is to take the lower level and convert it into an auditorium and a community room that will allow us to really bring more impact to the work that we do, educational programs, cultural programs, and as far as the visitor side. And with that, our goal is a year from now when we're here, we'll also be going downstairs and watching a program in the auditorium or having a speaker event. We already have some alliances with the JFK Library. We do their forum programs here. The EMK Institute will be able to do their forums here for people who live on the Cape. But the anchor to that is the community room. The community room will really give us a convening spot for public events, people on Main Street here, the businesses on Main Street, and other community organizations that is not located here. So we think it gives us a whole new life. We're focused on
And the JFK Hyannis Museum also officially celebrated its 25th anniversary during this week's event. Since opening, more than 1.5 million people have visited the museum. More than 75 residents turned out to remember those who gave their lives and those who served our country during the Korean War. The emotional ceremony was held yesterday at the Korean War Memorial in Hyannis. During the ceremony, Commander Stanley Jones talked about the history of the Hyannis Memorial.
Today, the 64th anniversary of the ceasefire of the Korean conflict will also mark the day that our organization will pass the ownership of this memorial to the town of Barnstable. It all started in the fall of 1950 when Centerville resident Don Duquette was a combat photographer in the 25th Division in Korea. He took a picture of an infantryman named John Allen as he ran up a hill. The photograph became fairly famous and was on the cover of several magazines in 1951. Flash forward to the late 1990s when a group of Korea vets got together and formed our chapter of the Korean War Veterans Association. We then initiated the move to have a local memorial to all Korean veterans. Robert Schuer of Boston was commissioned to sculpt the statue from that photograph, and it was dedicated in the year 2000.
Town Council Vice President Jim Crocker assured the veterans in attendance that the town of Barnstable will take great care of the memorial. Crocker also thanked the veterans for their service. Eversource hopes to increase rates for electricity delivery by 7%. The electric company says the increase is due to higher operating and maintenance costs. The Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities will hold a public hearing on the proposal at Cape Cod Community College Wednesday, August 2nd in the Tilden Arts Center at 7 p.m. All are encouraged to attend. Well, up next, we're going to learn more about the upcoming Love Live Local Fest with founder Amanda Converse.
I'm here with Amanda Converse, the co-founder of Love Live Local, and we're going to talk about her Love Local Fest, which is happening at the end of July. So tell us a little bit about what's going on.
So this is our 5th season doing the Love Local Fest here at Azleton Park. And every year we do 2 Love Local Fests at Azleton Park at the end of July and the end of September. And we have local vendors and businesses who do pop-up tents and sell their wares, and we have local food vendors, beer garden, and then we have local musicians that will be playing on the stage, and tons of activities for kids and dogs, because if the kids and the dogs are happy, everybody's happy.
So how did this whole Love Local Fest come about with your whole company?
So we started Love Live Local as a way to sort of share things that are going on around the Cape that might not get the attention they deserve. And it sort of just evolved into, we should get all of these great local businesses and musicians and organizations together that we came to know and love, and just have one big event for everybody to get together and share what they do with the community.
So Love Live Local, is that essentially stuff that you personally produce, or is it stuff from all over the Cape that you find in local vendors?
So Love Live Local, in addition to the Love Local Fest, we publish an email every month, and we do a ton of social media, and we also publish the Cape May Field Guide, which is basically a travel guide for Cape Cod, but our whole mission is to just promote Cape Cod-based businesses.
Yeah.
So you have to be a Cape Cod-based business to be in the guide, be in our emails, and be at our fests.
That's awesome. So what is the difference between the July event and the August event, the September event that's coming up?
So July is mostly, we call it like our summer celebration. So that's when, as we know, the Cape is highly populated in the summer. So we have mostly tourists and our second homeowners that come and enjoy Hyannis and Hyannis Harbor. And then September, we call it our Locals Fest. So it's kind of when locals get the Cape back, and then they get to come and enjoy Hyannis as well.
For the vendors that are coming, is there anyone that can still try to submit to be in it, or is it, how do you find them, or can other people find them on your website if they want to purchase more?
So our July Fest is actually full. We have more vendors than we've ever had before. And the really exciting thing of every year is that there are new kind of cottage industries popping up. So we just had this one person apply and get accepted who in his retirement has started making sauces and dressings, and he was a restaurateur who now has started this cottage industry. And then we have a lot of younger people who are doing this kind of as supplemental income, and basically being creative and making jewelry or apparel or housewares, really. And so that's really exciting because we get to see new businesses pop up every year. But we're all full for July and pretty full for September. We try to get a really good mix of vendors. Because we don't want it to be all t-shirts and all art or all photography. So we're trying to get like a really good mix for the customers and for the vendors as well.
Is there going to be a difference between the vendors at the July event and the September event just because of the changing of seasons?
Yeah, so some, we don't have the same vendors for both. Some vendors are really busy in July and can't make it to that show, so we'll have different people in September for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for more information, you can go onto the Love Live Local website.
Yep.
And thank you so much for being with us, Amanda Converse, the co-founder of Love Live Local.
Thank you so much.
Now we'll chat with Assistant Recreation Director John Gleason about recent updates to the skate park and the Hyannis Yacht Club Regatta that's happening this weekend.
Thanks for joining us, John. So let's talk about what's going on this week, starting with the regatta that's coming.
Every year at the Hyannis Yacht Club, they host a regatta, and it's this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a great event. Tons of people come from all over the country to perform in this event. A lot of kids will do it because they get recognition for colleges and sailing teams and stuff like that. And it's at Veterans Beach. They usually will sail off at 10 o'clock in the morning, but they're there early to get their parking squared away for the event. But it's a busy day, so if if you're looking to go to the beach this weekend, Veterans and sometimes Calmus will be busy, so you might want to choose maybe another location or get to a location earlier to make sure you get your spot. But the regatta is a great event, and we look forward to it every year.
Is there overflow parking? And in addition to that, the kids that are in the JFK sailing program, are they able to sail in this regatta?
They can if they have their own boat and they want to enter in. But usually our JFK sailors are, more, for the most part, novice, sailors. So it's probably something they're not ready for quite yet. But some might partake in the event. But yeah, we do fill up Veterans. We will definitely fill up, and overflow parking goes over to Calmus, and the yacht club has their own parking lot, and they'll move trailers over there, so there'll be no trailers in our parking lots. But there will be quite a busy, Calmus and Veterans with people trying to park for the regatta.
So if people want to see it, they definitely should go to Vets or Calmus or even C Street to watch them go out and come back.
Yeah, the best viewing areas from Calmus. You can't really see anything from Vets other than it's where they leave from. But the viewing area would be best at Calmus if they want to see the racers out there. Similar to like the Fagawi in the beginning of the summer. The best viewing areas from either like Craigville, Colville's, or Calmus. But for the regatta, the best area is Calmus to watch it.
So do they typically go the Fagawi course, like they go to Nantucket and back, or like what's the race course?
So I'm not much of a sailor myself, but I do know they have a certain buoys that they have to sail to and around, and different course. I think they call it a course, and they have to follow that course, and they definitely have an area where they start from, and they time it to with the wind and everything else. But they don't go over to the Vineyard or Nantucket, but they have a map out there on the course that they have to follow and come back. And but that's not my world, so I don't know too much about it. I just kind of handle all the parking and that stuff for the town side. But it's a great event, and people love doing it every year.
So in addition to having the town be involved, we also have Unity coming up. Unity Day, excuse me. So what's going on with that? What are some activities people can look forward to?
So Unity Day is this Friday on the Village Green from 4 to 7, and Barnstable Recreation and the Youth Center get involved with just trying to provide some activities at the event. We want to make sure that we're supporting the event and doing some stuff for the families that come down. So I recommend that you definitely come down. My wife and I took our kids last year to the event, and we had a great time down there. But we're going to be providing face painting, some carnival type games, and just something for little kids to be involved in while they're there. And we're just trying to be a part of the event and show our support to the community and everyone involved with the event.
That's great. So weather is a little iffy. If the weather is bad, is there a second location, or is it definitely going to be on the green?
I think it's, from what I gather, it's rain or shine this Friday. And I think as of late last night, early today, the weather is looking a little bit better for Friday. So it's like it's all or nothing for Friday for Unity Day, and we're hoping that they have some good weather, because it's a great event. The people involved in that work really hard trying to bring the community together. And Barnstable Recreation wants to be a part of that and helping, bring the community together. And we're just trying to make sure we provide good things there for people to do, and like I said, show our support.
And then, in addition to that, with the great facility that you have here, you also have a skate park. And do you want to talk about what's going on with that?
Yeah, they got rained out on Monday, but yesterday or Tuesday and Wednesday of this past week, they started doing some sandblasting to the bowls, and we'll over the next couple of weeks we'll be resurfacing the bowls and painting the bowls so they look like they're brand new. It was a project that started some time ago. There was a project involved with the basketball courts, some lighting, new ramps, and finally now the bowls will be finished off. So once the bowls are finished off, the project will be complete. And hopefully the skaters, the bikers, the scooter kids that are out there, they'll have two new bowls to use. They have a bunch of cracks in them now, and the paint is kind of chipping away, and it's time that it finally needed to be fixed, and we're excited that it is being fixed.
That's great. So it's multi-purpose. It's not just skateboarding. It's all different types of wheels that can use it.
Absolutely. I mean, Melanie Mimo is in charge of our skate park, and She's been out on maternity leave, so I've been spending a little more time there this summer, and it seems like the big trend now is scooters. It's like every little kid has a scooter and is out there. But in the past, definitely that it was a lot of BMX bikers and skateboarders using it. But I think with the condition of those bowls, it might have maybe, kids might have maybe stayed away a little bit. But now that they're being fixed, hopefully those, sort of kids or young adults come back to the park and start using it, because we love to see any sort of rider out there, whether it's a scooter or a bike or a skateboard or whatever has wheels and they want to use the skate park, as long as they're using it the correct way. We're excited to have them out there, and I think they're going to be excited about the renovation of the bowls.
And since they're being redone, can anyone use it? Or do you have to be a member of the HYCC? Or?
No, you don't have to be a member of the youth center. It's free. It's open to the public, whether you're from Barnstable or not. We do provide equipment if you need it, where we do charge, I think, $1 for like rental of pads or something like that. So very inexpensive. But you have to have requirements of wearing a helmet, elbow pads, knee pads, and stuff like that. But yeah, no, anyone can come, and it should be, I don't know the timetable of when they're going to finish, but it's going to be over the next couple of weeks where they'll fully be done. They were sandblasting this week and then starting to fix cracks and resurfacing over the next couple of weeks. So hopefully by early August to mid-August it will definitely be done, and people enjoy it for the rest of the summer and into the fall, because we stay open until, I think, late November we're open until, so there'll be plenty of use this year, and then it'll be ready again for next spring and summer.
That'll be great for the cold weather coming in.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, because kids skate. I mean, my son plays hockey here in the wintertime, and I'd leave the rink here at 8 o'clock at night, and there'd be still kids out there, doing their tricks out there. So they use it, year round, except in the wintertime when it's too cold.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was John Gleason, the Assistant Director at the Rec.
Local author Kate Conway hopes to share her passion with young adults. We're going to find more about that and the upcoming Teen Writers Conference during our interview. So Kate, you're at it again, always busy and creating events for lots of us book lovers. I want to talk a little bit about the Teen Writers Conference that you put together. You actually worked with Marston's Mills Library to do this, right?
Yes, so Lindsay Hughes, who is the YA librarian for Marston's Mills, came to me. She wanted to do some classes, which we've done before, and I said, well, why don't we just roll it into a teen conference this year? And she had grant money to handle the conference, so it's free to teenagers, and it's a long period of time. So they actually, rather than just getting a piece of writing advice, they get to see their own writing bloom. And kids nowadays are so limited on what they can do and the freedoms they have with school and extracurriculars. When they write, they actually have control over their own world. So it's a great chance for them to do whatever they wish inside a book.
Wow, and what a great opportunity for no cost to attend, because as we know, so many things cost a lot of money. You can sign up for some really great writing courses, but they oftentimes cost a lot of money, and they may not be available here on Cape Cod. So really cool to see this happening for teens. What ages are we talking about here?
So 13 through 18, basically the true teen ages. They can register online. We are almost full, so if anybody wants to get in, they need to get in quickly. There's a limit on how many kids we'll take this year, and we hope to make it bigger next year and slowly build and build until it's a fairly sizable ordeal, I guess.
What kind of classes are available during the Teen Writers Week?
So they actually will work through an entire series of classes from the start, which is a pitch for their own book, and then they'll build outwards and backwards, and they'll work on action scenes and dialogue, and we even have something called the Ball of Destiny, where they all sit and toss a ball to each other and work out story issues that each of them are having. If one of them says, I'm stuck, we stop, we sit down, and we start just off the fly figuring out where our character's going and what their drive is.
So do you love teaching and working with kids or teens and helping them sort of hone their passion for writing?
I absolutely love working with teenagers. I think their imagination is entirely unjaded. So whereas I love working with adults too, but adults are like, no, that would never happen. Where teenagers are like, sure it can. So they have this passion and this drive that's just uncontained, and working with them and seeing them look at something they've built and go, my gosh, I've done this myself, this is my world, my control, is phenomenal. And plus, some of the stuff they come out with just blows me away. I mean, even as a novelist, I'm like, wow, forget it, I'm done. They're the best things I've ever heard.
Wonderful. You know, important, I think, too, to give him that inspiration at a time and that confidence, because I think writing, it really does take a lot of confidence to share your work with other people. You're always afraid. We're always the harshest critics on ourselves, I think, and we're always fearful of what others might say. So do you talk to teen writers about these issues?
I do, and amazingly, teenagers, when it comes to writing, almost seem to have a thicker skin than adults. And I think they're a little more merciful too when they read stuff. So nowadays you can load a lot of things online like Wattpad and Fiction Press, and so your work can already be read. The goal for me is to take whatever they have and sharpen it down, so when they do want to put it live, they're less likely to get the occasional adult that's like, this is lousy, or it's missing this, or that wouldn't happen. Plus, in the Writers' Conference, these kids exchange numbers, emails. They start to create their own writing groups. And they last. So they're building friendships based on this common passion of storytelling and writing and book reading. And pretty soon, by the time you get to class, they beat you to the school. So they're all waiting and chatting, and you're like, oh, I'm finally here. But they're ready to go. And it's just a great time for them.
Now, if someone's interested, if someone's watching and saying, this would be great for my teen, how can they sign up?
So they have to go to either the Marston's Mills Library. They can either call them or appear in person. Find Lindsay Hughes. Like I said, she's the YA librarian. Or they can register online at CapeCodTeenWritersConference.com. There's a button at the top of the screen that says register, and it's an online form, and we will get it and ping them back that we've received the information.
Great, and they need to do that quickly because spots are filling up.
They do.
I want to talk to you too about another event as part of Teen Writers Week. You're having a Cape Cod Teen Writers panel. Who's going to be a part of the panel?
Oh my goodness, we have 11 writers. They're all from the New England area. Off the top of my head, it's Amy Ewing, Hillary Monahan, who also writes as Eva Darrows, Michael Bailey, Katie Barrell, gosh, I'm trying to think, myself, Catherine Knight. Who else do we have? I'm trying to think of everyone. It's a huge panel. We tried to represent every single person we could think of, Emily Ross, Huntley Fitzpatrick, and they represent a large genre panel. So you have everyone from urban fantasy to horror to, you know, contemporary to historic fiction, and that's important because these teenagers that are coming, they're not just, you know, writing Harry Potter, they're writing a million different variations of what they have a passion in. So showing them people who started just like them. You know, some of them liked writing when they were young, some of them, like me, couldn't stand writing, and now these people have books out and they understand the process, and plus you get to ask these people anything you want, and they're very, very hard to reach on social media. So it's a great chance to do that as well.
Yeah, you know, that actually, the panel is open to the public and also free to attend. Is that correct?
It is. It's open to the public. You know, get there early. It's going to be at the Marston's Mills United School, which is where the teen conference is as well.
Yeah, that Barnstable United Elementary School.
Correct. Osterville, West Barnstable Road, I believe.
Yep.
And, you know, there'll be books there for sale if people want to grab them from Titcombs. We tried to get Meg Cassell's book early. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but she has a fabulous new book coming out as well. And like I said, it's a great chance to ask questions, to get insight, and to get honest answers from authors who have been there, who were writers, who were children. You know, I think sometimes teenagers look at adult writers and go, you were never a kid. And then we're like, no, seriously, at one point we were you. So it's a great chance to realize that as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today, telling us all about the author panel and Teen Writers Week. Of course, if anyone wants more information, they can go to CapeCodTeenWritersConference.com. Thank you, Kate. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our guest today, author Kate Conway. Now let's find out what's happening around town in today's community calendar. People of Action, the Barnstable Police Department, and the town of Barnstable will host the second Barnstable Unity Day on the Hyannis Village Green this afternoon. The event is intended to bring together the community and local police force in a free celebration. The event is free and open to the public. There will be food, music, activities for all ages. Please bring your own chairs and blankets. Barnstable Unity Day will be held today from 4 to 7, rain or shine. Tonight, actor Michael LePage will bring to life the exciting and complex life of Alexander Hamilton. Through LePage's dynamic performance, attendees will learn the story behind the man, why he is suddenly a cultural phenomenon, and about his untimely death. The event will be held tonight at 7 at the 1717 Meeting House in West Barnstable. Tickets are just $15 for non-members and $10 for members and students. There are no board, committee, or commission meetings today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be back Monday with another great show for you. On Monday's show, we're going to learn a bit more about the Kindergarten Jumpstart program with Hyannis West Elementary School Principal Kathy Amato. We'll find out how the Cotuit Kettleers are faring this season with President Paul Logan, and we'll find out what's happening at Cape Cod Community College during our interview with Communications Director Michael Gross. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.